Well, most coaches will break down the season into three particular parts. The preseason, maybe an unofficial scrimmage or two. The regular season, are you working your way towards a conference championship? And then the third season, the postseason. We have reached it here as Defiance knocked off, wasn't Salina. They worked their way through the first half of their bracket playoff. It was Salina in a 2-6 matchup. Wapakoneta took care of Springfield in a 3-4 matchup last weekend. So what that means, both have advanced to the second round. The Division III District Basketball Playoff action is on the air. DCTV Sports welcome you aboard from Liberty Benton High School Gymnasium. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller as the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show is now on the air. As tonight's matchup, a couple of Western Buckeye League opponents not unfamiliar with each other at all will be doing battle one more time tonight, except this time it's for the right to wear the uniform one more game. The Defiance Bulldogs, 18-5 overall, 7-2 in the WBL. The Wapakoneta Redskins finishing their regular season at 12-10. They went to 12-11, after that win last week, finishing the regular season at 3-6. Scoop, we're going to break this one down as we've got about 30, maybe 35 minutes before these two teams get set to tip off. The game you're seeing right now on your screen is the matchup of the 1 and the 5. Lima Shawnee elected to forego the first round bye that they earned with a regular season, spectacular season. They elected to play and knocked off 7-seeded Bousher in the opening round. 5th-seeded Bowling Green got moved into that bye spot, but right now we're seeing why Lima is number 1 coming out of this bracket as they are in command 58-22. Lima, barring something completely unforeseen, will be facing the winner of tonight's second game again, Defiance and Wapakoneta. But Scoop, the beauty of high school basketball, no matter what your regular season record is, everybody gets at least one game. If you don't come ready, that's when you read about an upset the next morning.
You're exactly right, and that's the beauty of high school basketball. It's not a best of 7. It's a winner-take-all. So you've got one game here, and these two teams met back on December 13th, but this is going to be a completely different game than what we witnessed back at the Dog Pound a couple months ago.
Well, that first game back on December 13th, it was just the third game of the season for both these two teams, and it was, to call it a defensive battle would be an understatement. Defiance won by 6, 32-26, in a game where head coach Bryn Lehman joked last week about the rematch. He goes, it can't be any worse. He goes, that first one set the game back by about a decade. Now, he was being facetious, but there was also a tinge of truth in that. Wapakoneta and Defiance play two very different styles of basketball.
Well, you're exactly right. And if you think back to that game on December 13th, Defiance was held scoreless in that second quarter. In fact, the halftime score was Wapakoneta 10, Defiance 4, but yet Defiance was able to unleash 18 fourth-quarter points to pull out the 32-26 win. I think the only time Defiance had the lead came with a couple minutes to go, where they finally were able to overcome that sluggish start. But again, these two teams are vastly improved from what we saw a couple months ago. And being the 81st overall meeting between these two rivals, you know they know each other very, very well.
Well, also one big key, actually two big keys. It's who isn't suiting up versus who is suiting up. For Defiance, 6'7" center, senior Garrison Smitty is out. He had an ankle/leg injury back against Archibald last month. He cannot go. Now, that doesn't mean they don't have depth and they don't have capable players to step in, but you can't coach 6'7". While Smitty didn't score a ton, he was a rebounding factor and he was a rim protector.
Well, you're exactly right. And if you think about Wapakoneta and what the Redskins bring to the table, they can go 6'8", they can go 6'5", 6'5", 6'4", 6'3". So this is the team that really has done a great job on the glass, and they're certainly going to miss Smitty. But again, it's tournament time. It's all hands on deck. It's that next man up mentality. And certainly the Bulldogs will be tested here tonight in this district semi.
Well, Smitty is out for the Bulldogs. The Redskins have one of their all-around. As a matter of fact, he does a little bit of everything. He runs the point. He's a shooting guard. He can play a stretch four. They also post him up. Caleb Moyer will be getting the start. He was injured and did not play way back in December on the 13th in that first meeting. Moyer enters tonight's game, averaging nearly 10 points and 4 rebounds per contest, and he is very much the straw that stirs the drink.
Well, he is. You know, he was recognized as third-team All-Western Buckeye League just a couple weeks ago, and he's a guy that, as you mentioned, offensively, very solid, 10 points a game, can board it, but he also sees the floor very well. He has over 2 assists per game coming in, second for the Redskins. He also leads the Redskins in steals, so he gets it done at the defensive end. They're going to certainly love having him in the lineup here tonight. Again,
12-11, 3-6 in regular season conference play. That was Wapakoneta's tally. For the Bulldogs, 18-5 overall, 7-2. That was good for second place in the Western Buckeye League. But all of that goes out the window. We've talked about this before, but you take a look at this bracket, and it's not uncommon whether you go down south or farther east. The first 2, sometimes 3 rounds of the postseason are kind of a mini conference tournament. Is that a benefit to any team, or is that a push at best, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's a push. You know, just like here tonight, you know, we've got 3 teams here from the WBL, and certainly 3 of the best from the WBL, so they know each other very well. The coaches know each other very well, and these coaches, as you know, they've scouted, they've watched so many film. In fact, they probably have watched just about every regular season game of the opponent on tape, so I think it's kind of a push. But again, it's getting your guys to come out and execute. That's what's going to boil down to. You know, this is one of those games where I think you have a best-of-7 series. It probably goes the distance, but this is a one-game playoff here, so you got to come ready to play. You're going to have to try to string together 32 minutes.
We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, our Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. I had a chance to stop out at a Defiance practice on Sunday afternoon. It was short, but it was very intense and very productive. We'll hear from head coach Bryn Lehman. Our player profile, they said since they won last week with the senior Khalil Ligon going, he becomes the good luck charm. So Khalil Ligon will be our player profile again tonight. We'll hear from the senior in his own words. Quick timeout. Back with more of the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. We are live from Liberty Benton High School, Division III, Ohio High School basketball playoff action. You're watching it on DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
Discover top-quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top-quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. Another game, another round, another opportunity to wear your team's uniform. That's what this season is all about. I had a coach tell me once about, okay, you break the season down into multiple components. Obviously, you want to win a conference championship, you want to improve, but at this point in time of the year, there's one thing you're playing for. And I know it sounds cliche of survive and advance, playing for the right to get on the bus one more time, but really, what everybody's playing for is the chance to make the trip to the center of the state and win a championship. Now, that sounds great and it sounds Hollywood-esque to a certain point, but you also have to embrace the grind. So, I'm going to ask you a psychological question here, Coach. Not X's and O's. We'll break down Wapak in just a second. But how do you treat this time of the year? Because the kids know what's on the line. Or can you treat it like just any other time of the year?
Yeah, I think you've got to go one at a time. And you really don't look ahead. You don't look to who the next opponent might be. You don't think about prior matchups. It's, we're a completely different team than we were 2 months ago, as is Wapak. So I think it's a brand new game. We've always done a great job of going one at a time. We're really not thinking about anybody else. It's going to be an absolute battle, a grind, and we're going to embrace it.
Look for Coach Lehman's new book. It's in paperback at a store near you, Mastering the Mental. When you do print that, let me be your PR guy,
right.
will you? We welcome you back. I guess he needs no introduction. Brent Balbanon saying thanks for joining us. We do want to thank our sponsor, Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, located on North Clinton Street in Defiance. All right, Wapakoneta. It's almost like, and we talked about this during the postgame against Salina, kind of a mini conference tournament through the first few rounds of the season. But let's break down what you liked. You've had a chance to take a look at that film now against Salina. What did you like, and maybe what still needs a little bit of sharpening?
I thought despite us not defending the greatest, giving up 39 points is still solid in a varsity basketball game. And, I think they hit shots, and credit to them. They made some plays. They really played tough inside. So I thought Salina did some really good things, and I thought our guys responded to adversity pretty well. There were some hairy spots in that game that I thought, our guys rose to the level that they needed to, and like I said, made some big plays. So we're happy with the performance there. We're not satisfied. There's always something to work on. But, it's on to the next, and we've got to be ready to go because Wapak, they don't care one bit about what happened last time. They're going to be fired up, ready to go.
Redskins knocked off Springfield. They've won 6 of their last 7. Bulldogs have won 5 of their last 6. So both teams, you hear this all the time. You want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the season. That's what it's supposed to be about. You're getting a matchup between two very different styles of ball. Break them down for us.
They're very deliberate, and they scored 62 points against Springfield. I think the best way to characterize Wapak is that they take what the opposing team gives them. So they're capable of scoring 60, 65 points. But they have no qualms about playing a 30-point game, and they're perfectly capable of locking somebody down and really making things difficult, which is what they did to Springfield. So and they did it to us once already this season. So I think we've got to be very, very mentally tough Tuesday if we want to have success.
Yeah, that 60-point game against Springfield, just their 3rd of the season. As a matter of fact, in that first matchup right here back in December on this floor in the Dog Pound, 32-26 was the final score. Now, you don't get style points for it, but break down what makes them so tough. They're physical. They don't have necessarily that one star, but they play very well within themselves.
I think the biggest thing is Coach Elkert does an amazing job of they're as well drilled as any team you're going to play against. They scout, I would say, better than any opponent that we play. They're going to be familiar with everything we're trying to do, and they just really get their kids to buy in. I think it's reminiscent of how we get our kids to buy in defensively, and they really, it's not always the prettiest brand, but you're going to make the opposing team's lives uncomfortable, and that's kind of what they pride themselves on.
They did not have Moyer in that first meeting against you. He's back. He's healthy. What does he bring to the team that you didn't see in the first meeting?
He's their heart. He really makes them go. He's somebody that on the defensive end, he's their best defender. Offensively, he's their second best offensive player. So they're a vastly different team. There's 2 or 3 guys that played against us early in the year that don't get any action anymore. So they're much, much different. They're improved, and they're peaking at the right time.
Defensively, no secret, they like to kind of pack it down low. They'll dare a few guys. Obviously, Sy is going to grab defensive attention no matter where he's at on the court. But is this a matter of thinking ahead 1 or 2 steps? If the ball finds me and I have this opportunity,
I'm going to do what I do, but I've got to be one step ahead. This is where you're playing chess instead of checkers. You kind of made that challenge to your guys in practice today.
Yeah, they have to be active. They've got to be ready to play the second they catch the ball and even before they catch the ball, because they are going to leave some guys open. They're going to pack the paint. They're going to switch every interchange, every screen. So it's going to be something that our guys haven't seen a lot of. They defend pretty well 1 through 5, and they're not afraid to switch little onto big. So we've got to have big men that are ready to take their guards into the post, and we've got to have guards ready to take their bigs off the dribble.
You got quite a bit of your offense last meeting from the foul line. Khalil Ligon talked a little bit about this. Look, you can get downhill, and if you want freebies, we'll take freebies. However you score against these guys, it still counts as a point. 2 points, right? How do you get the tempo to where you want it to make them uncomfortable?
I think we can run on them. I really do. I think we can get some transition on them, but that requires, sitting down and defending and then getting the rebound. I think the transition game does benefit us, and I think we've got an advantage in that regard, but they're going to be well prepared. So I think we've got to be ready to be strong with the ball. Like I said, 5 guys attacking offensively and getting to the paint and playing on balance.
This team has been built to do something special, and without going into great detail, you kind of challenged them. At the same time, it's a grind. If it were easy, everybody would do it. But when this team is playing its best, what's the ceiling for this group right now that we've hit the postseason?
I think every team we've played this year we can compete with when we're playing our best. And I think that's encouraging to know going into any game, is that, you've played a large majority of your schedule as good, if not better, than those teams. We've taken a few licks in games, but, there aren't any excuses. Every team we play is banged up. Everybody's got bumps and bruises this time of year. We've got to find a way to fight through tough times. And like you said, the sky's the limit if we're going to be tough and play hard.
For whatever reason, it just popped into my head, but that old movie, Coach Carter, I don't think it was that old. I still feel relatively young when I saw it. But when they made the postseason, he looked at him in the huddle and he said, just because you deserve it doesn't mean you won't have to earn it. That's what it's about. Is this going to be the type of game where we're not just talking about 4 quarters, we're talking about possession by possession? It's going to be that valuable.
Without question. I don't see either team distancing themselves too well. I think it's going to be a game that's slowed down and a game that's broken up into, minutes and seconds as opposed to just one full game. I think it's we're just too familiar with one another. And we've had a lot of battles, Coach Elkert and I, the last 5 years, and, this is just going to get added to that list.
Maybe a coach's one-on-one if it goes into overtime. You're going to put money on you?
My conditioning's not what it's been, so I take him.
Personally, I think he's poor boy in it, but neither. We'll let that happen. Maybe we can get something in the summer going as far as a fundraiser for both programs.
Let me work up there.
Coach, in all seriousness, though, we appreciate you giving us access to the program. As always, good luck tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Coach Lehman joining us on the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. Don't you go anywhere. We're back with our player profile, senior Khalil Ligon. He can't get enough of these. They also say he's the good luck charm, so why not? Young man wants a microphone. He's pretty good. We'll hear from him in his own words when we come back. You're watching the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show is on the air as DCTV Sports is on the road with the Defiance boys, Liberty Benton, next round of the playoffs. Survive and advance. Basically, you're playing for the right to wear the uniform one more time. And the Bulldogs took care of Salina in their opening round. It is almost a mini conference tournament when you take a look at Salina and now Wapakoneta. These two teams not unfamiliar with each other, as the Redskins knocked off Springfield in their first round. They had to wait an extra day. They played a night later. But with that said, guessing probably enough oil in these guys' joints, 24 hours isn't going to make that much of a difference. He's become the good luck charm. Coach Lehman says if they win, my guess is you're going to keep getting a microphone, whether you're going solo or you're going to share it with somebody. Khalil Ligon joining us. You okay with that?
Totally fine with me.
Totally fine with that. He's chill no matter what gym he plays in. I guess first things first, before we go ahead and preview the Redskins, let's review. First half versus second half, you guys look like a completely different team. Now you tip your cap to Salina. Yes. They kind of set the tone that they wanted to. You knew that they were going to want to make it as slow as molasses in January. What was the difference in a 9-point win between the first 16 minutes and the second 16 minutes?
Definitely we got up in pressure. The pressure significantly helped us, and then I also say the rebound. And the rebounding, we started to get more rebounds second half, and that limited their opportunities for second chance points, and I think that's what really helped us get over the hump a little bit there.
Now you tip your cap to them because this just in. Other teams are well coached. They're playing and practicing hard as well. One thing that they did, I don't want to call it a deke, but for a lack of a better term I will, they would vacate and fill on the weak side quite a bit. They ran the slip screen to perfection in that first half. And yet, even though they got the tempo they probably wanted, you still had the lead at the half. Was there any fiery halftime speech or just a matter of keeping it cool and here are the adjustments we need to make
and then you went out and did it?
Definitely hearing the adjustments. I think we were just thinking a little bit too much on what to do, and we were getting out of position a little bit and not communicating as much. So coming out of halftime, we knew that they were doing that ball screen basically that whole entire first half, and we needed to fix it. I think we did a little bit better in the second half. We still need to adjust on it, I feel, a little more, but I think that's what we've been working on these last few days and really improving on our gap defense, help side, backside, help
You
side.
beat me to it. I was going to say, we talk offense quite a bit, and that's what makes the highlight reels at 6 and 11. But this team defensively has been staunch this season. As a matter of fact, less than a handful of teams have scored more than 50 points against you guys. I don't think you get the credit defensively that you probably deserve, but how long did it take for that chemistry to build? Because it's one thing to have help side defense, you got to help the helper. I'm watching this Defiance team now at the end of the year, and everybody's just kind of moving as one. How long did it take to develop that?
Honestly, I don't think it took long because I feel like we kind of shocked a lot of people how tough we played defense, and I think we just everybody understood what everybody was like, starting to get like moving defensively, shifting and whatnot, and so we just know we had to play. That's the biggest thing Coach Lehman says. Don't be a robot, just play and see where the openings are, and then that's when you just move and communicate.
Let's talk a little bit about attitude. Just coming off a very intense practice, very productive, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like these guys are wound too tight. How do you strike that balance of staying focused but staying loose at the same time?
Coach Lehman always is a big guy on. We got to get out here and compete against each other every day because that's what's going to help us and prepare us for the game. But he also wants to make it a little fun for us. We got to play loose, and I think that's when we play at our best. And I think he knows that. So when we're playing loose, I think that's when we're just at the top of our game.
Let's go ahead and talk about Wapakoneta. No stranger to him, another WBL opponent. You played him on this very court way back in December, and it was slow going. We were joking about it. First one to 31. We were right, even though we were kind of kidding. You only gave up 26 points. You anticipate that style of play. That's what they want again this time around. How do you counter that?
I think we just need to move the ball. I think we just need to be a little more aggressive, attacking them a little bit more inside and out shots. They play real good. They're really well coached, really good at playing gap defense, but they're going to try and force us to shoot a little bit, make us shoot a little bit. But I think if we don't settle for threes and whatnot, get it into the paint, get our kickouts, and then start dishing it down off of cuts and everything, I think that would just counteract everything they want to do.
You beat me to it. You anticipate it sounds like they're going to wall you off. Now, obviously, everybody comes out and probably checks Cy beyond the perimeter.
Yes.
You've had some bigs. You're obviously a little bit of a matchup problem if you're going to have a guy size-wise. He's got to have quick enough feet. But is this just a matter of guys need to know what's a good shot for them, and if it's there, go ahead and take it?
Yeah, that's I think the biggest thing. I think we sometimes have guys that I think everybody on our team is really good shooters. I think they just get a little bit in their heads and lose their confidence a little bit. But every time I think everybody steps in their shots, we have the best shooting nights we have. I remember early on in the season against Paulding, I think we had a struggle against Rossford first game, but then when next game we came to Paulding, everybody was ready to shoot, and we just filled it up, and that was our best shooting night of the year.
There's nothing wrong with getting downhill, maybe getting a foul and getting to the free throw line too. You guys have jump-started your offense quite a bit at the free throw line this season. Can you do that again?
Definitely. We have pretty good guys that can drive. Everybody can drive. We're strong with the ball. So I think if we get to the free throw line, like you said, it just opens up everything, creates more problems inside, which helps open up the outside and inside game. So
this is a question I know we talked about early on in the season. I wanted to wait until after the postseason got going, but let's talk about goals. One thing to want to win a conference championship. Now it's about winning a championship. You guys openly talk about how far you want to go, what your expectations are, or do you just take it one game at a time?
Definitely one game at a time. I know it's always anticipation to look ahead and see what your big goal is, what you want, but sometimes you just got to slow everything down, go one game at a time, and that's what's going to get you past and get to that point where you want to be.
One game at a time, one quarter at a time, one possession at a time. That's the goal against Wapakoneta.
Yes.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Again, Khalil Ligon, our player profile. Don't go anywhere. We're back with more of the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Motes Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Motes Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmotesford.com.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
Looking down on Liberty Benton High School Gymnasium's basketball court. DCTV Sports on the road tonight. Division III district final action between the Defiance Bulldogs and the Wapakoneta Redskins. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. There you take a look at the regular season records. These two teams did meet all the way back on December 13th. It was the third game of the season for both teams, and to call it a defensive struggle would be an understatement, as Defiance won 32-26. Let's go ahead and take a look at your keys to the game, brought to you by Northwest State Community College. Your key to great career opportunities begins with a great education at Northwest State. Visit northweststate.edu or call 419-267-1320 today. First, for the visiting Redskins, led by head coach Trey Elcher. Again, they are a defensive-oriented team. They do not want it up and down the court. And eventually, our graphics department will get those keys up on the score for you. There you go. Scoop, fire away.
Well, for the Redskins here tonight, it's going to start with Windex, as we call it. They've got to clean the glass at both ends. It's been a strength of Wapakoneta all season long, and the fact that Defiance doesn't have Garrison Schmidt in the lineup, that could loom big here tonight. I think the second key tonight, they have to win the turnover chain. This has also been a strength of Wapakoneta on the season, averaging just 10 turnovers per ball game, but Defiance comes in averaging just 9 per ball game. So whatever plays out right there could go a long way to determine who will advance to see the Shawnee Indians on Saturday.
Yeah, the number 1 seed dispatched Bowling Green in a running clock in the second half. So now the other half of this bracket will be filled out in the next 32 minutes. Your keys to the game for head coach Bryn Lehman and the 18-5 Defiance Bulldogs. Bring them up, gentlemen. We're leaving everyone in suspense. There we go. All right, the perimeter D has to stick. It's no secret that Wapakoneta gets its scoring from basically 2 players in particular, Richardson and Moyer, now that he's back healthy. Rogers and Adams are both around 7 points per ball game, but they aren't the go-to guys. So, Scoop, you're going to see a lot of hedging, but you're also going to see a lot of trapping. And it doesn't matter whether or not the ball's going to the strong side or the weak side. They will come out and trap. They want to gum things up. They've got to be sticky on their defense. And then second, no surprise, we've used this one before, Wapak wants a slow-tempoed ball game, half court. Defiance, they're not necessarily going to drop 80 on you, but they want to make the salsa hot. And the way they've done that, at least successfully so far this season, is with their defense. A turnover here, a jump passing lane there, leads to an easy layup at the other end, and then all of a sudden, they've got things moving. They speed up Wapak, and they feel they can win tonight.
Well, you're exactly right. And if you remember back to that first game back on December 13th, Wapakoneta, for the most part, was able to get into the half court, make it a half court game, but Defiance started trying some traps in different defenses to speed up the Redskins and eventually paid off. Which one will play out tonight certainly is going to be a big factor in who's moving on.
Wapakoneta wants more of a rugby meet, whereas Defiance wants more of a track meet. Those are your keys to the game, brought to you by Northwest State Community College. Check them out online at northweststate.edu or give them a call at 419-267-1320 today. As you see the crowd filing in, let's go ahead and give you the starting lineups, brought to you by Baker Schindler Company. Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, baker-schindler.com. Let's start with the visitors. There you take a look. The Wapakoneta Redskins warming up. And as we mentioned, their starting lineup looks a little different compared to that regular season meeting back on December 13th. Well, we believe we're going to get them up for you. Let's go ahead and read them off for you as the clock is ticking down here, now under 5 minutes left to go. Caleb Moyer, the 6'2 junior, will technically be your point guard. He plays all 5 positions, but if they need somebody to bring the ball up, set the offense up in the half court, he will do it. Moyer averages just an eyelash under 10 points per game at 9.8 and 4 rebounds, also a couple of assists per game. At your off guard, it will be Blake Rogers, the 6-foot sophomore. Rogers, 7.8 points and just under 2 rebounds, but 2.5 assists per game. He leads the Redskins in that category. At the swing, it will be Elliott Block, the 6'4 sophomore. Block averaging 4 points, 2 boards per game. Your front court, Ryan Richardson again is technically a guard at 6'2", and he's the team's leading scorer. They will have him moving all over the court, not just with the ball, but without the basketball. They will screen. He will constantly be in motion. He averages 12 points, just under 5 rebounds per game. And then in the middle, and he's a load, 6'5 sophomore Caleb Adams. He is a space eater, very physical, primarily a board man, but he does average 7.5 points to go along with 4.5 rebounds per contest. Those are your starters for the Wapakoneta Redskins. On the flip side, for head coach Bryn Lehman and the 18-5 Defiance Bulldogs. Again, a change since the first meeting in December. We'll wait for him to come up. Let's go ahead and start them. Logan Hutchison. Again, he has been the glue. He doesn't score a ton, but the 5'8 senior loves to play defense. Hutchison doesn't even average 2 points per ball game. He averages half a point per ball game. But he draws the opposition's best player night in, night out. And I say this with all respect. This is the highest amount of respect you could give a basketball player. Scoop, he's a pest.
Well, no doubt about it. You're not scoring a point a game, but yet you're a mainstay. There's a big reason for that. He's that glove on defense. He's going to stick you. He also sees the floor very well, so he's a guy that can dish out assists at the other end as well.
At the off guard, it will be Josiah Schlatter. Schlatter standing in. Again at 5'11". He's the team's leading scorer. Schlatter again averaging 13, almost 14 points per ball game. He's also dished out 48 assists on the season. He's the team's best free throw shooter at 89%. At the swing, it will be the 6'2 senior, Brez Zippel. Zippel, again coming off the bench. He's just a sound journeyman. He averages 5 points and 4 rebounds per contest, but he'll also bring some physicality to the position. Dre Singleton, just too good off the bench. They needed to move him into the starting lineup. Singleton, a 6'2 senior, and Scoop, it was just a matter of time before he worked his way into the starting lineup. He's averaging 10 points and 3 rebounds per contest. And then in the middle, your power forward, Khalil Ligon, the 6'3 junior, the team's leading scorer. Ligon averaging 16.7 points per ball game and 5 rebounds per contest. Those are your starting lineups, brought to you by Baker Schindler Company, serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. A minute 13 left to go. Balls are being put back into the racks. We are getting set for tip-off. 32 minutes. That's all that's left in one of these two team seasons. 32 minutes from now, the other will be advancing to take on top-seeded Shawnee right back in this very gymnasium on Saturday afternoon. As the colors being dropped from half court, you can see them at the top of your screen, slowly coming into view. Both teams lining up along their respective benches as we get set for the playing of the national anthem. And it is brought to you by our underwriter, the Defiance County Veterans Office. Proud to support local veterans and their families, connecting them with resources available to them. If you'd like to learn more or request more information, log on to defiance-county.com/veterans office. Defiance-county.com/veterans office, or give them a call at 419-782-6861. As the fans and the players come to attention, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem. National anthem in the books, courtesy of the Defiance County Veterans Office. You are a veteran or a family member of a veteran and would like to learn more or request more information about the services that might be available to you. Log on to defiance-county.com/veterans-office. Well, Scoop, it was educational at Defiance's practice on Sunday afternoon. But Coach Bryn Lehman just simply said, you cannot get bogged down. Wapakoneta wants this to be a meat grinder of a ball game. Half court, very physical, incredibly slow, and to be honest, they kind of rock you to sleep. And if that happens, then it's anybody's contest. With that also said, Defiance can play some pretty good defense themselves. As we take a look at coming into this contest, yeah, the Bulldogs average 53.5 points per ball game, but they're only allowing on average a little over 43, about 43.5. I have sounded the horn on this. I don't think this Defiance team has received the credit it deserves for playing as strong a defense as it has.
Well, they're really stout the defensive end. If you've watched Defiance throughout the season, you know just that. You know, they can bring a lot to the table, but you have to remember, being a tournament game, it will be physical. I think the officials are going to let these guys play, so you're going to have to come out swinging here in this opening tap. And if you blink tonight, you could be in trouble because this is going to be probably a lower possession game.
Yep.
And it's probably going to be one of those games that will be decided in crunch time. So, again, you have to play for 32 minutes, and you've got to come out right away ready to go.
We talked about it as part of our keys. Again, that perimeter D has to stick. They will come out. They will trap, especially off the first pass. But part of that is hands up. It's not just enough to disrupt the offense. They want turnovers. They want 5 seconds. They want deflected balls. And part of that is also taking it away on the closeout. No strong hand drives. They will allow, they've got the scout down. This is how detailed things are with the film. They know who's right hand dominant. They know who's left hand dominant. And they, to a man, have said shade here depending on whether they're right-handed or left-handed. I mean, the detail in the defense by Coach Lehman and his staff has just been meticulous.
Yeah, well, Coach Lehman has been really impressive. You know, he's done such a great job after taking over for his dad, Kirk, there a few years back. But again, these teams know each other so well. Each coach is prepared so well. So it's going to be how well the kids are going to execute these game plans, follow the scouting report. And again, especially in the game that's going to be low probably scoring, not as much as last time, I don't believe, but certainly a low possession game.
I don't want to say the first one to 30 wins because that's what it took last time. I think we'll have a little bit more of a motor on this one. But you've got two teams that are playing their best ball when it matters at the end of the season. Wapakoneta comes into tonight on a 3-game win streak, winners of 6 of their last 7. On the flip side, Defiance, also a 3-game win streak, winners of 5 of their last 6. One meeting, the lone meeting in conference play, again coming back on December 13th. It was just the 3rd game of the season at that time for both these teams, and as we mentioned, it happened in Defiance as the Bulldogs defended home court with a 32-26 win. All bets are off now tonight, though. The winner advances to take on top-seeded Lima right back here in the same gym on Saturday. The loser will have to buy a ticket if they want to watch.
Well, you're right. And remember, Wapakoneta has all sophomores and juniors in the starting lineup, and sometimes those guys play a lot looser. Defiance has 4 seniors, and sometimes when you're that senior, are you thinking about this could be my last game or not? So we'll see which plays out with a veteran experience to Defiance prevail over the youth of Wapakoneta.
We are getting set for tip-off. Whistle sounds. Ligon in the center circle for Defiance. Adams for Wapakoneta. Bulldogs win. Singleton left wide open for a 3. He doesn't miss those very often. Schlatter coming out. Oh, almost falling down. Block. Look at this. Caleb Moyer, I think of the nickname Sunshine from the movie.
Yep. Absolutely. Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. He's got a little Ronnie Bass look to him. Very patient, driving, sweet-looking Jay from 15 feet out, in and out. And look at this, Moyer with the board. Leans in against Ligon. He does draw the foul.
Well, right now, Wapakoneta doing what they need to do. They're controlling the glass. They held Defiance to 1 and done. Then they come down and they get an offensive rebound from Caleb Moyer, and he's able to draw the contact. So now he'll head to the charity stripe, trying to put the Redskins on the board first here. Just 42 seconds in, the first free throw up and good.
We have points, rebounds, assists, steals, even blocks per game. We do not have free throw percentages for Wapakoneta. As that one, boy, barely cleared the top of the iron, but it comes down through the cylinder. And the Redskins draw first blood. Defiance being patient. Good ball movement down low. Wow, little finger roll. I tell you what, we had a change. Will Horvath is in the starting lineup here.
Now, how about Horvath there with that up and under move, the nice little fingertip roll.
Ball is loose, diving for it. Look at Singleton lay out.
Great hustle play that time by Dre Singleton. Was able to get a little deflection there, and I love the effort there, getting on the floor, even though the arrow belongs to the Redskins. Tremendous defensive play by the Dogs right there. Defiance has switched out that man-to-man.
I was going to say, a little 2-3 here. Kind of packing it into the center there, high post, middle of the paint. And this is playing into Wapakoneta's style, though. They are very patient, and there you see Horvath jumping the passing lane and knocking it out of bounds.
Great read that time by Horvath. He was able to get a deflection there. Walpock would take it out there near the corner.
Good ball reversal. Block thought about it, nothing doing. He'll take a three. The lefty releases and misses everything. And a nice box out by Horvath. Singleton will slow it down. Ligon. Oh, he's going to launch a three. That didn't look comfortable. Out of nowhere, Singleton crashes and gets the putback.
What a hustle play that time by Singleton. You know, that's just one of those blue-collar plays. He had no business getting that rebound. Wapakoneta had position. But a good hustle play gives Defiance their first lead tonight.
Top of the key, Moyer. Bounce pass. Ligon comes out. Almost got the steal. They'll reverse it. Wapakoneta has sped up their half-court offense just a little bit and deflected and out of bounds. Rogers will be the trigger man on the baseline. Boy, look at Moyer, was screaming for it in the near corner. He was wide open. They get it to him now beyond the arc. Ball was deflected into the high blocks, but again, good ball reversal by the Redskins. Adams in the low block. And a good job to sag down to help out. Schlatter with the steal. Ligon, he's missed a couple of threes. They're going to run some more offense. Into the paint, pump fake. Hutch just won't shoot. This is the guy that will, though. Cy Schlatter. They haven't really run much for him, and now they're coming off the baseline, but not setting any screens for him. Horvath on the drive. Schlatter with a bit of daylight. You can't give it to him or he'll do that to you.
Great execution that time by Defiance. That time they decided they had stagger screen set up. They went underneath the stagger, and that gave him a little bit of space, and that's a no-no as Schlatter makes him pay with the Premier Bank three.
He's shooting nearly 33% from beyond the arc as they get the ball into the paint. Good aggressive drive by Block, and take your pick. It's either Singleton or Ligon. And it will be Singleton for Defiance.
A nice job by the sophomore Elliott Block that time to get established down low. One of the few times that the Redskins have had the ball deep in the paint, and now he'll try to end a 7-0 Defiance run. First free throw rattles around before dropping through.
Now, he was 2 for 4 in game number 1. As an aggregate, the Redskins were 6 of 14 from the free throw line in that first meeting.
Yeah, that won't get it done here tonight. There's just not enough room for error, I think, for either team here this evening, so you're going to have to execute, cash in on those open looks, especially from the charity stripe. Second one off the mark.
Long ball, rebound tipped out, Block's got it. And Defiance will have to continue to play some defense. They've trapped Adams in the near corner. He's in all kinds of trouble. Block gets it back out up top. Richardson has yet to take a shot tonight. He is the team's leading scorer at 12 a game. Drive, rattles in and out, offensive board. Horvath with the foul. That was the third opportunity for the Redskins, and they're going to put block right back to the charity stripe.
That's a concern for Coach Bryn Lehman, the fact that Wapakoneta's done a nice job attacking the offensive glass, extending possessions, and now a chance to connect from the charity stripe. This one's going to rattle out.
Well, if you're Defiance, you got to box out. I mean, how often do you say that? It's an easy thing to say, but it's hurt them now. 2 of the last 3 trips to the line for the Redskins.
Yeah, and they have plenty of length, so you can't just go in there and try to out-athlete Wapakoneta. You're going to have to get position, drive them off the block a little bit.
So 1 of 2 cuts Defiance's lead to 3. Just over halfway through the first quarter. Schlatter looking down low, nothing doing. Horvath reverses it. You're going to see a lot of movement, especially by the Defiance bigs, away from the ball. They want to get him into the high blocks, run a lot of weak side cutters. The man downstairs right there, Brez Zipp will cut, and Schlatter misses. It's a one-on-one, best on best. Little contact, no call, tip, nothing doing. Ball kicks back out again. Richardson with it. That's going to be a long 3. It is short off the fingertips of Moyer, and Zippel boxes out for the board.
Tremendous box out by Zippel, and they needed it as Wapakoneta continues to attack the offensive glass.
Zippel, top of the key, Horvath reverses it. Schlatter right now being face guarded by Rogers. And look at this! Zippel with the Premier Bank 3.
Well, that's that senior confidence that time. Great ball movement by Defiance, great spacing, and Zippel there, no hesitation whatsoever. Now the lead up to 10-4 for Defiance as they go back to this 2-3 zone defense.
That is not particularly Zippel's bread and butter. He only shoots 27% from the arc, but as Coach Lehman would say, nicely done, Breslin. Only guy, I'm assuming his mom used his full name, maybe if he got in trouble as a youngster.
Once or twice.
Hutch reverses it. Ligon immediately gets rid of it. Nice drive. Oh, great up and under move, and the finger roll by Will Horvath. Give him his second hoop of the night.
Well done, Will Horvath. Great head and shoulders fake. Was able to get the aggressive closeout and take advantage by going to the rack. And once again, that nice up and under move. He now has 4 points.
Long 3 off the heel of the iron by Richardson, and it's one and done. Here comes Horvath. Stutter steps, goes all the way in, throws up a prayer. Zippel with the follow and the tip in. And right now, Defiance clicking on all cylinders. The secondary break and the tip in by Zippel makes it a 10-point lead. Timeout, Redskins. We'll take a 30-second break. Back with more right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Well, there you take a look at both huddles. And high up above. Now we are about halfway up the near side. You're seeing the full court from our perspective. There you take a look. That's me. That's Scoot Miller saying thanks for joining us tonight. Well, what a start to this ball game for the Bulldogs as they lead it by 10 with $1:46 left to go in the first quarter. Jay Wright checking in, seeing his first action of the evening as he will spell Logan Hutchison, and they're coming out in a full court press, and that's a heads-up play by Ligon. He wasn't sure if he could track that down, so rather than risk it, he just let it go out of bounds knowing it would be their possession.
Great defense again and heads-up play as well. And we told you this was not the same Defiance team that we saw against Wapakoneta back on December 13th. And remember that game, they had 14 points going into the fourth quarter. Now they've got it in just over 6 minutes.
Schlatter fades away but can't get the friendly roll. Rare opportunity for the Redskins to run. Good transition D though by the Bulldogs. And they'll get back out into their half-court offense. as Trent Lisi, a sophomore, now in to run the point guard chores. Wright staying on arguably the biggest player on the floor right now in Adams. He'll release him. And it looks like this zone has really given Wapakoneta some fits.
But it has. They've had to take a lot of tough threes. It's one thing having a catch and shoot there right on the arc. It's another thing when you're 4 or 5 feet beyond. So Defiance has done an excellent job here taking away the paint.
Ligon will check out. And while the 6'7" center, Garrison Smitty, may be watching from the bench, they do have size. This is 6'4" sophomore Jackson Becker, and he is a space eater coming into the ball game. Long three off the heel of the iron. Zippel actually tapped it to Wright. Schlatter will slow it down. Wright was a starter for the better part of the season, now comes off the bench, averaging nearly 7 points and 2 boards per contest. He is slick, though. He's got some handles, and he does have a really nice stop and pop jumper. Right now, he's just kind of killing some time with 7 seconds, trying to put their offense in motion. Schlatter from distance right wing, nothing doing. And that will bring an end to the first 16 minutes of play. Defiance leading by 10. Bulldogs 14. Redskins 4. We'll take a Mark Moats Ford timeout, serving the Defiance community since 1916. Located on County Road 424 in Defiance and online at markmoatsford.com. We'll take a 60-second timeout. Second 8 minutes when we come back from Liberty Center. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Whistle sounds, second 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock. We welcome you back to Liberty Benton. Division III District Championship basketball playoffs, and Cy Schlatter picking up where he left off in the first quarter. Drains a premier bank three. He's got 6 points, and the Bulldogs have a 17-4 lead.
Well, that's what confidence will do for you. No hesitation whatsoever. They attack that zone defense by the Redskins. They do it in style with another Premier Bank three.
Moyer is checked back in at the point guard for the Redskins as they work it left side, and a long three, nothing doing, out of bounds. Boss with the ball. We talked about needing to make sure you value every possession. What do you have for turnovers for both teams?
Well, after 8 minutes, Defiance did not have a single turnover, so kudos to the Defiance offense being strong on the basketball. Wapak, meanwhile, had 2 turnovers, but one led to that Schlatter three-pointer, so 3 points from Defiance off of turnovers. Defiance has really come out and executed here in the opening 9 minutes.
They lead by a baker's dozen, and Schlatter was feeling it. That didn't have a ton of rotation on it. One and done. Here come the Redskins. Nice pump fake. The Richardson cut off baseline. Wright taps it, and it will stay with the Redskins. They're lucky because I don't think Block realized it. He could have let that go, and if he got one more step and got a hand on it but couldn't control it, it would have been Defiance basketball.
Yeah, Defiance still being very active. They've had a lot of deflections, even though they've only forced a couple of turnovers.
That's a great high-low, and missing the bunny. Block was right there, and he couldn't get it to fall. And this Defiance zone just continues to frustrate Wapakoneta. Right. Heat check for three. Rattles it home.
Premier Bank three from Jordan Wright. And right now it's all Defiance up 20-4, just 9.5 minutes in.
Not even halfway through the second quarter as they run Moyer high blocks. He immediately kicks it out. Block with the pump fake, but cut off by Wright. Almost threw it away. Long skip pass to the far side. Moyer on the drive. Gets a facial by Ligon. We've got a whistle. Did that come on Zippel or did it come on Ligon? It's Ligon, and that's his second. So the question is, does Bryn Lehman want to leave his starting forward on the court? Looks like for right now he's going to.
Yeah, tough break that time for Ligon. Looked like he timed that one pretty well, but to credit Moyer, he's able to cash in on the first of two. And now Zippel will check out as Dre Singleton will check in for Defiance.
All right, my book, I had Ligon for 2 fouls. The board only shows him for 1. So I might have inadvertently gave a foul that belongs to somebody else to Ligon in that first period. Lead remains 14, though, at 20-6. Singleton kicks it out. Well, that would have been deep by Horvath, and that's just being a little too aggressive.
Yeah, that time a pretty risky pass that time, trying to thread the needle on a backdoor opportunity on the baseline. That'll be the first Defiance turnover. Wapak will bring it up against full court pressure once again.
Almost a half-court trap here. You got 3 white jerseys coming out, a little bit of a collision. But Wapakoneta on their heels offensively right now. Richardson cut off. He's flirting with 5. Throws a prayer away. It's deflected, and here comes Wright. It's 3-on-3. He's going to spot up for 3. Got it!
The defense leading the offense as Wright hits a Premier Bank 3, so 3 more points for that Defiance defense, and now they're at the high water mark, up 17 points here as we approach the 5-minute mark of this opening half.
And timeout. Coach Eltrick knew they were flirting with 10 seconds on the half-court trap, and he breaks his clipboard over his knee. I believe this is a 30-second. We will keep it here. Coach Eltrick showing some frustration as he huddles his team up. We're taking a peek on the right side of your screen there, Wapakoneta's huddle. On the flip side, Defiance, but it looks like there is some fire being preached in that Redskin huddle right now.
Yeah, right now that clipboard in multiple pieces, but again, the biggest problem right now for Wapakoneta, they've just not matched the intensity that Defiance has brought to the floor here tonight. And again, we talked about you're going to have to come out swinging here tonight. Well, credit Defiance, they have done that and some.
How many turnovers? And I know you were keeping points off of turnovers for both teams so far.
Well, Defiance has just 1 turnover. It has not led to any points for Wapakoneta. Meanwhile, Wapakoneta only 3 turnovers, but those 3 turnovers have led to 6 Defiance points. So Defiance doing a great job of turning turnovers into points there, which has been a big part of their success this season.
As the buzzer sounds coming out of this timeout. 5:07 left to go in the first half. Defiance 23, Wapakoneta 6. Scoop again in the first meeting between these two teams back in December. Defiance won with 32 points. My guess is they're going to get there if they don't surpass it by the time both clubs head to the locker room.
Yeah, just incredible the fact that Defiance had 4 points at halftime against this very same Wapakoneta team just a couple months ago. And here they are, 23 points, just 11 minutes into this contest.
Richardson still looking for his first point of any kind. Team's leading scorer at 12 a game, but he has been frustrated so far tonight. Moyer on the drive, into Khalil Ligon, and that one's deadened off the backboard. Singleton tried to turn and fell, but managed to control it. Here comes Wright. Schlatter, this is a layup for this kid. Another Premier Bank 3, his 3rd of the game.
Great transition look that time by Defiance, and Schlatter there spotting up, shooting in rhythm. He's been lights out here in this opening half.
The lead is 20 as we approach the halfway mark here of the second quarter. That 2-3 zone by Defiance has just stymied Wapakoneta, and they finally take the lid off the basket with a Premier Bank 3 for Blake Rogers.
Well, much needed hoop by the sophomore Rogers that ends a Defiance run.
Oh, Adams swats Singleton off the scoreboard. Rare fast break opportunity at the other end. Blocking foul going to be called on Cy Schlatter.
Great job by the Wapakoneta defense there. Getting the rejection and quickly and alertly going up the floor there as Elliott Block made a heady play that time, attacking the rim, drew the contact from Josiah Schlatter. And now a couple free throws coming up for Block, the sophomore. First one off the heel of the iron.
He was 50% in the first meeting, 2 for 4. Right now, he is 2 for 5. It's somewhat of an unorthodox style. He stands not quite with his feet even. He stands about a half a foot off the line, and he really almost shot puts that ball. He drains 1 out of 2. Defiance's lead trimmed to 16. Well, here's where, if you're the Bulldogs, you've got to keep your edge. How often do you see teams jump out to a big lead and kind of exhale? They've got to keep it up.
Yeah, you can't settle for fool's gold. You have to continue to play. You know, this team is too good that they're playing against Wapakoneta. In fact, they're in the district tournament. You keep your foot on the accelerator.
Ball reversal, Ligon off the low blocks, banging away down low. Singleton deep, goes up strong, and this foul is going to go against Adams.
Yeah, that time mistake by Adams. He kind of bailed Singleton out. Singleton in a tough spot, getting close to the 3-second count. Was forced to force one up, but he'll get rewarded now, heading to the charity stripe.
66% on the season, good on his first. Substitutions, Hutchison checking in for Schlatter, Zippel checking in for Horvath. Well, even with 2 would-be starters sitting on the bench right now, Coach Lehman has gone 3 deep as Singleton connects on his second. And a 30-second timeout. We will keep it here. 28-10, Defiance's lead back up to 18. Well, we talked about style of play and how Wapakoneta wanted more of a rugby meet and Defiance wanted more of a track meet. And right now, no question, who's running tempo better?
Well, again, I think you credit a lot of that tempo for the Defiance defense. They've done an excellent job. They've mixed things up early, but the zone especially is really created some havoc for Wapakoneta. They just have not attacked it, got a lot of post touches. The result, a lot of long 3 attempts, not very much as far as offensive rebound. Defiance has really been connected, especially in their transition game. They're finding the open 3 ball. They've been hitting it, and again, they've got good effort and energy from the opening tap on.
Buzzer sounds with 3:10 left to go in the first half, and still coming out. They've switched the press up a bit here. They're now trapping and getting back. They put more pressure on the ball, and Wapak goes over the top of it. And Adams, he got challenged by Zippel. He wanted to dunk it, he couldn't, and he misses. Wow. Right. Zippel trying to find Ligon. He's got 3 red jerseys around him in the low blocks. He's drawing a ton of attention. They'll back it out and reset. Singleton feeling it from 3. It's long. And Ligon's going to be guilty of coming over the back of Moyer. You saw that one coming.
Textbook check out by Caleb Moyer. Give him a lot of credit. That time did everything right. He had good position, but then he created better position by getting the solid box out. Made that an easy call for the officials. And now Ligon will have to ride the pine here, perhaps for the final 2.5 minutes of this opening half.
Back staying in that 2-3 zone. There's just nothing in the paint. And that ball deflected out of bounds. And again, with Ligon out, maybe you might try that. But, Scoop, it looks like there's daylight there. But when you've got the 6'4 Ligon and the 6'5 Singleton back there, all they got to do is stick their arms out. It's basically inviting you, deking you into that pass.
Well, how many times have we seen a Defiance deflection? They have to have close to maybe 15 here in this opening half already. They've been so active with the hands.
As this one rattles in and out, ball being tapped out of bounds. We Wapak basketball. You saw what I wrote here. Coach Lehman talked about it. Hands up. He stressed that. If he said it once, he said it 100 times during their practice on Sunday. And they have taken it to heart.
Yeah, this zone defense has been very, very effective. We've talked about that earlier, but they're so active. They move so well. You see a lot of teams go zone, they stand
throw it away.
Here they force the turnover. Singleton brings it up.
Well, he doesn't care how many are in front of him. He's going to lean in. Banks two off the square.
How about Singleton there? Comes up with the swipe and then goes 1-on-3 to the rack. Gets it up off the window and in.
All day Dre with the fresh fast break. And there's another turnover. Schlatter got a piece of it. Horvath outlets to Singleton. Look out. It's 2-on-2. He's going to try again. He got a little deep that time.
A great job being physical and transition D by the Redskins. It kind of rerouted him away from the rim.
Into a double team. Oh, look at that. Beautiful secondary break by Moyer. That's his 6th point of the night, but his first basket from the floor.
A nice rim run that time by Moyer. A nifty bounce pass there in the paint. One of the few times the Redskins have got an easy deuce here tonight.
Right out near half court, being dogged by Richardson. Under a minute left to go, and it looks like the Bulldogs want to work for the final shot of the half. Nice screen by Singleton. Horvath, that's going to be short. You could tell off the fingertips. And here's a 2-on-1. Outlet. Wright gets back, and look, sometimes when you're beat, you're beat. And that was a smart move by Wright not to foul.
Yeah, heads-up play by Wapakoneta that time. They recognized they had numbers on that long rebound. They quickly got it up the floor, cashed in. Much-needed hoop there for the Redskins. Now looking for a stop here, trying to get a little momentum before the break.
15 seconds left to go. Singleton right back to Horvath. And timeout being called, or do we have a foul? We have a foul.
I think that's going to go on Ethan Brandt.
It is.
The sophomore that time reaching in. Not a bad foul, just the 3rd foul.
And look at this.
Redskins. They still have one to give here in the final 11 seconds.
Ligon is checking in for Singleton for Defiance with 11 seconds left to go in the half. You know they've got a set play, and here's where they run their two bigs, both in the paint in the high-low. And you see Zippel calling. He'll set the screen. They get it into Ligon, and he traveled. Oh, wow.
Yeah, just the second turnover for Defiance, but that time great ball pressure by Wapakoneta, and Ligon slides the pivot foot. And we'll see if Wapak here with 4.8 to go can somehow hit with a Hail Mary.
Well, Hutchinson coming up, and there's a foul. He had, what'd they have to give?
Smart foul. That was the last foul to give, but again, now it leaves just 2.0 seconds here for Wapak. But now if Defiance, just make sure you're not fouling. Force them to chuck one over the top.
Well, not just 2 seconds, but they have to inbound in the back court again. So they're going to have to really go quickly if they get one off at all. Moyer struggling. Deflected by Hutchison. He puts one up at the buzzer. If he had scored, he would have broken his per-game average. But just the same, Hutch with a great defensive play to end the first half. All Bulldogs as they take a 16-point advantage into their respective locker room. Defiance 30, Wapakoneta 14. We'll take a 2-minute break. 2-minute break. Back with your Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Discover top-quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top-quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
Back at Liberty Benton High School Gymnasium, Brent Balvin alongside Scoop Miller as we are at the intermission. Time for the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show, celebrating 70 years of helping you achieve your dreams and securing your future. Visit them in Defiance, Bryan, or Napoleon, or online at midwestcommunity.org. All Bulldogs in the first 16 minutes as they lead by 14, 30-16. Check that, 30-14. Not sure why I gave the Redskins a phantom basket. So make it 30-14. We'll take a look at your unofficial scoring totals, but we believe they are accurate here. We actually have a view of the scoreboard here. But, Scoop, we talked about one of the keys being limit your turnovers. You said win the turnover chain. What do you have for both teams? What do you have for points off a turnover?
Well, right now, Defiance is clearly winning the turnover chain. The Bulldogs turned it over just 2 times in the opening 16 minutes. And Wapakoneta was not able to cash in, score any points from those 2 Defiance turnovers. Meanwhile, Defiance defense has forced the Redskins to 8 first-half turnovers, and those turnovers have led to 11 points at the other end. So you combine that with the success Defiance has had at the offensive end. Boy, that's good math for the Bulldogs. A big reason they're up 16 points here at the break.
Let's run down the scoring for this afternoon's contest. Leading all players, Josiah Schlatter. The young sophomore, he's a three-point specialist. He hits nearly 33% from beyond the arc, and all 9 of his points are from distance. He had 1 in the first quarter, 2 in the second quarter. On his heels, Dre Singleton with 6 points, including 2 baskets from the field and a pair of free throws. 5 points for Brez Ziffel, including 1 from beyond the arc. That's not normally his strength, and he had a beautiful follow on a secondary break off a missed layup to round out his scoring. Jordan Wright off the bench, 2 threes, good for 6 points. And Will Horvath, 4 points, both baskets from the floor coming in the first quarter. On the flip side for the Redskins, being led by Caleb Moyer. He's got 4 free throws and 1 basket for 6 points. After that, it drops off considerably. Blake Rogers hitting a 3. Elliott Block, he's been to the line 6 times tonight, but he's only 50% from the charity stripe. He's got 3 points as well. And Ryan Richardson, the team's leading scorer, averaging 12 a game coming into this contest, has been held to just 2. Scoop, it would be easy to look at how hot Defiance was, especially from beyond the arc. But let's start with defense, because right now your leading scorer only has 1 basket. He's 10 below his average, and nobody has more than 6. Which impresses you more, the offense or the defense for the Bulldogs in the first 16?
Well, the defense, no question in my mind, is what's really stuck out in my mind. We talked about all those deflections, but more than the deflections, the fact that they're so locked in. They're connected on defense. The communication's been there, and they know where those guys are at. They know where Caleb Moyer is spotting up. They know where Ryan Richardson is. You can see guys pointing. You can see guys talking, and they're really taking away the main cogs here of the Redskins, and the Redskins have just never looked comfortable in the half court here tonight.
Well, look at this. With over 4 minutes left to go, Defiance is already out of the locker room and getting an extended halftime shoot-around. My guess is if you're playing that well, you really don't need to overanalyze it in the locker room for Coach Lehman.
Well, you got a lot of excited kids in there. I bet we're just chomping at the bit to get back on the hardwood. So I think that's a good sign, the fact that you can tell these guys have that look in their eye. They're locked in. They're following the game plan to the T, and they're also playing at such a high level. You combine that with the energy we've seen at the defensive end. Wapak's going to have to make some serious halftime adjustments. They want to get back in this one.
Now, speaking of the half, they're still in their locker room. The Redskins most likely getting a little fire preached at them by Trey Elchert. All right, walk us through what could be going through the Redskins head coach's mind. What message are you sending to your team right now?
Well, you're sending the message, we got to play hard. We've got to be aggressive. We've got to make sure we're swinging here on each and every possession. And I think the adjustment that Wapak has to make here, they have to start going downhill. Right now, they're just kind of going east and west. Defiance has forced them to the corners. They forced them out near the timeline. You just can't run an offense from 40 feet from the basket. So credit Defiance, they really have set the tone with their energy. The Wapak not only has to match that energy, they have to somehow exceed that if they want to work themselves back in, and they have plenty of time to do so.
Well, I'm going out on what I think is a pretty sturdy limb to say Wapakoneta should expect to see more of that zone from Defiance in the second half. So if you are the Redskins, what do you do differently to try and break it down in the second half?
Well, it's going to start with ball faking. Right now, you have to – we've got aggressive defense. You have to ball fake. An aggressive team is going to honor those fakes, so you have to shift them out of position. You also have to be a lot more active. I've really not seen a lot of screens against that Defiance zone defense. You have to screen the zone. You have to move without the basketball, and then look for maybe those matchups you want. That's the one thing you can dictate when a team's playing a zone defense. You know where each defender is, so if you think you got a good matchup against one of those defenders, put your horse in that area and see what he can do.
Both teams out for a quick shoot-around. We are a minute 45 away from resuming play in the second half. Defiance 30, Wapakoneta 14. We'll have it for you when we come back as we put the finishing touches on the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union Halftime Show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Final seconds ticking off the halftime clock as we put a wrap on the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union Halftime Show, celebrating 70 years of helping you achieve your dreams and securing your future. Visit them in Defiance, Bryan, or Napoleon, and as always, online at midwestcommunity.org. Defiance 30, Wapakoneta 14. Bulldogs trying to advance to Saturday afternoon's next matchup against top-seeded Lima Shawnee. Redskins trying to get back into this one. Same starting five that began the game, it looks like, for both teams. Moyer, Rogers, Block, Richardson, and Adams for the Redskins. Hutchison, Schlatter will be Horvath, Ligon, and Singleton for Defiance. As another turnover, steal by Schlatter. Wraparound pass. There's where Hutchison is just too unselfish. Scoop, he just doesn't look to score. If you don't take a layup, then you just won't take any shot.
Take it up strong right there and let your teammate go hard to the glass. That time, as you mentioned, a little bit too unselfish as both teams trade turnovers. Defiance, no surprise here, coming out in that sticky, stingy 2-3 zone defense that had so much success in that opening 16 minutes.
Hutch and Schlatter up top. On the wing, Singleton and Horvath, and a long three, bricks off the side, and I believe that's out of bounds. The official's going to talk it over, and they will say Defiance basketball. Wapakoneta's bench tried to sell it, but change in call not forthcoming.
Yeah, I think the officials got it right, regardless of the 17 red jerseys and coaches over there we saw pointing the other way.
Ligon, he wants a three off the front of the iron. Singleton tried to tap in, no good. Loose ball, middle of the paint. Both clubs 0 for 2 on their first two series of the second half. Block. We'll reverse it. Richardson, he averages 12 a game. He was held to just 2 in the first half. Moyer. Schlatter out on him. Are they going to try and screen the zone? They are. And it still didn't get him much penetration. As a matter of fact, the ball went the opposite way. Richardson, boy, just a lot of indecision right now offensively by Wapakoneta. They're trying to get it into the high blocks. Block, he's got to get his hands up, Scoop. He's not going to be able, if I'm a guard, I don't make that pass with a post with his hands down around his waist.
Yeah, he's got to create position. I like the idea. You have to go the middle there, look for those diagonals, high-low action.
Well, look at Singleton driving, forcing the action, nothing doing. So both teams with 3 possessions. Anybody yet to score? Finally on the fourth, it's a charm, and Caleb Adams has his first points of the evening.
I think Wapakoneta's starting to realize they may have success here if they can get out in transition. That time well done by the Redskins, and they strike first here in the second half.
Horvath releases Singleton on the drive into the paint. Horvath kicks it back out. Singleton, nice feed. Ligon had this man on his hip, reverses, and he thought he was fouled, nothing doing. So Defiance still looking to score to open up quarter number 3.
Yeah, Ligon did everything right, but really put the icing on the cake. He had good position.
Long three, got it from Ryan Richardson. He's got 5. It's a 5-0 run by the Redskins as they pulled to within 11.
Right now, this Redskin defense pitching a shutout here in the opening 3 minutes.
You knew it would happen. They were not going to roll over and play dead. Full timeout. We'll take a Mark Moats Ford timeout with them. Located on County Road 424 in Defiance and online at markmoatsford.com. Bulldogs 30, Redskins 19. Back after this on DCTV Sports. Little Queen, We Will Rock You, bringing us back to Liberty Benton High School Gymnasium. It is Division III District High School Playoff Basketball Championship round. Sees the number 2 seed, Defiance, leading number 3 seeded Wapakoneta, 30-19, but a 5-0 run by the Redskins has made this interesting as Defiance still looking for their first points of any kind here in the second half.
The Redskins have come out with a whole bunch of energy at the defensive end, and they've forced Defiance to one and done here. They've also forced Defiance into an early turnover in this third quarter.
Ziffel kicks it out. Wright has checked back into the ball game as he will spell Singleton. Ligon in the low blocks, double teamed. They'll kick it out. Right on the drive. I thought he was going to stop and pop. He's got a beautiful jumper. Will we see it here? No, we won't. Back out. Oh, this is not normally his shot. Hutch, nice job by Ligon with the board. He wants to move, spins, he's cut off, goes up with a hook shot. Still can't find it. Wapak basketball. And the frustrations continue for Defiance. Is that 5 or 6 possessions now without a score?
That's 6 possessions, and that time, credit Ligon. I thought he made another good move. He's had a couple really from down near ground zero, but he hasn't been able to finish. And right now, Wapakoneta can make this a single-digit game here they can execute at the offensive end.
They got their center, Adams, keeping a waist-high dribble at the top of the key. Rogers cut off. Richardson just drained a three on their last offensive series. Moyer double-teamed in the low blocks, dribbles out of it. This is vintage Wapakoneta right here. Slow it down, ball reversal, and do we have a foul?
Ball. That's going to be an illegal screen. I think they're going to get Caleb Adams on that, the 6'5 sophomore. That time trying to screen that zone, but when Defiance was trying to slip on top, he stuck the leg out there, made that an easy call for the officials. That'll go down as a Wapakoneta turnover, and that's a big stop there by that Defiance defense.
Well, Cy Schlatter has just checked back into the game for the Bulldogs. He's their leading scorer at the intermission with 3 threes. He's got 9 on the night, and he's immediately in motion. Nice feed down low to Ligon. That was a well-run play. Khalil Ligon's first points of the evening come at the 3:45 mark, and it's the first basket in the second half for the Bulldogs.
Great execution by Defiance in half court. Credit Logan Hutchison for dropping a dime there off that little pick and roll action. Wapak a little tardy there, picking up Ligon after he was screened.
Block, skip pass. Adams, the big man, pops out for 3 and airmails it. And it pays off. Moyer falling out of bounds, threw it at the feet of 3 Bulldogs. It will be Redskin basketball as Hutchison out and Horvath checking in.
Great hustle play by Caleb Moyer. If you're going to save the basketball, do it underneath your own basket. That time he was really able to throw it off a Bulldog.
Well, they lob it into Adams, but nothing doing. He'll kick it back out up top, and there's quick hands by Wright. Coast to coast. He'll go in for the layup and misses the bunny. You saw what he did there. He felt the pressure coming, and instead of going up with his left hand, he went up with his right.
Yeah, that time when you're going 90 mile an hour, that's tough to do, to get that softly off the glass, and that one just a little bit too much mustard behind it. So a forced turnover by Defiance, but unable to cash it into points at the other end.
Lead remains 13. 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Adams double-teamed in the low blocks. Free throw line extended, Rogers. Well, this is going to be a long three by Richardson. He's got it. The lead cut to 10. Timeout, 30-second variety, Wapakoneta. Richardson with 2 Premier Bank three-pointers so far here in the third quarter, and this game has just changed complexion a bit.
Well, how about Richardson there? That one was NBA range, but again, a lot of confidence by the junior. And right now, Wapakoneta here starting out this second half. They've been tremendous here, outscored Defiance 8-2 here in the opening 5+ minutes.
30 points at the intermission. With the way Defiance played the first 16 minutes, Scoop, if I would have told you that they would only have 2 points well over halfway through this third quarter, I don't think you would have believed it.
Oh, not a bit. They were doing it in all phases. They got a lot of points from their defense. We mentioned that 11 first half points from Defiance off the defense, but the execution offense was really good. Josiah Slatter was able to get freed up for those three balls. They also got a 3 ball from Brez Zippel.
Zimpel backing his man down here. He's going to muscle up and gets the friendly roll. That was just brute strength by the Defiance senior.
Oh, that's great coaching, too. Great job there by Bryn Lehman there to get that isolation to Brez down low there. And, again, you want to break a scoring route, do it in the paint here. Great execution after the timeout.
Lead back up to 12. Defiance still out in this 2-3 zone. Moyer tries to break it off a dribble penetration. Now on the baseline, running floater, block, can't get it. And Ligon makes sure it's one and done.
A tough break for the Redskins. They got a pretty good look there on the baseline there, and that ball did everything but drop through the net.
Schlatter with a rare touch here in the third quarter. They run him through, trying to pop him in the near corner. Wright will slow it down and back it out. Under 2 minutes left to go. Going to use a double screen off of Ligon and Zippel. Oh, Ligon rolled. They got him, but he's well off the blocks now. He doesn't care. He's going to muscle into the paint. Tries to muscle up. Spins. Leaves it short.
That's 3 good looks he's had, but he's left all 3 short. Wapak trying to turn it into quick points.
Richardson will bring it out, slowing it down. Block in the high blocks. Boy, almost a steal by Wright. Moyer far corner. Ziffel, nice job to close out. Low blocks. Block goes up strong, and he's fouled. It's going to be 2 shots. The question is who's it against? And it looks like it's going to be Horvath.
Well, that was a great half-court set that time by the Redskins, and credit to Elliott Block, the 6'4 sophomore, made a nice rim run, and he was spotted, and great entry pass inside, and now Wapakoneta will try to get an answer from the charity stripe, the southpaw up and in on the front end.
He is 4 for 7 right now. Second is on the way. In and out, and they don't box out. Oh, my goodness. 34-23. 3 at the other end. It brings Dew down with it. Long by Rogers, and Ziffel making amends for giving the extra possession to him.
Yeah, that time Defiance completely whiffed on that free throw checkout. Fortunately for Defiance, it does not come back to bite him.
Boy, Horvath almost walked. Ligon wants a basket, spins, releases. Boy, that's a pretty move.
Tremendous baseline drive that time by Ligon. Again, he made that nice little fake there, was able to reverse his pivot, was able to get that one to go from ground zero.
36-13, long 3. Off the heel of the iron by Richardson, and we'll see if the Bulldogs work for the final shot of the quarter.
That's a big rebound by Jordan Wright to keep the Redskins a one and done. Now Defiance will play for the last shot here.
Richardson comes out to foul. That's just his first. They got, 2 more that they can give?
Yeah, this is big possession right here. The fact that Defiance still going to go in with a 13-point lead at least here in this third quarter. Plus they'll get the basketball to start the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So if they can execute right here, boy, this could be a mini dagger put into the Redskins right here as we have 14.4 to go. And still plenty of fouls to give here for Wapak. They still have 2 to give here as we hit the 10-second mark here.
This is the time you want to get your offense moving, and they'll foul again. Foul will go against Brandt, his second.
I think that's good coaching. We've seen both teams do this here. You don't carry them over, so if you got a foul to give here, take a little bit more time off the clock. We'll see if the Redskins foul one more time.
Boy, they do, and that was a very quick and hard one. Brandt now has picked up his third, and that's a show of sportsmanship by Brandt to come over and shake Jay's hand. But now with 6.3 seconds, you got to put your offense in motion the minute you inbound.
Yeah, now you got to play honest defense here. The next foul will put the Bulldogs to the charity stripe. So right here, Coach Ilkert puts in his top defense here, trying to get a stop here to make this a 13-point game here going into quarter 4.
Wow, into the backcourt. Wright's got a hustle. He dribbles it off of his foot. They're not going to get a shot off. Matter of fact, they're lucky that ball wasn't turned over. It certainly looked like it went off of Jay Wright. But instead, Defiance will inbound with 2.2 seconds left.
Yeah, Defiance dodged a bullet right there.
Yeah.
As that clearly was off Defiance.
Ligon, he was going to take this shot. On the drive, did he get it off? Nope, they're going to wave it off. He didn't get it off before the buzzer, and we have come to the end of the third quarter. Defiance led by 16 at the half. They lead by 13 after 3. Bulldogs 36. Redskins 23. We'll take a 60-second Mark Moats Ford timeout. Back with the fourth and final quarter. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
A little fits in the tantrums brings us back to Liberty Benton High School Gymnasium. The final 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. Division III District Basketball Finals. The winner will advance to Saturday afternoon's 4 o'clock tip-off against top-seeded Lima Shawnee. And right now, second-seeded Defiance trying to make sure that it's a 1-2 matchup as they lead number 3 seed Wapakoneta 36-23. Scoop, you and I were talking about it. Defiance only scored 6 points in that third quarter, and yet their defense only gave up 9. If Wapak was going to make a run, they really only won that quarter by 3. As Schlatter leaves this one short.
You're right. Their defense did a great job, especially that last 5 minutes where Defiance actually outscored Wapakoneta the last 5 minutes 4-1. So they weathered that storm where they gave up 8 of the first 10 points in the opening 3 minutes of quarter 3.
Open 3, far corner, got it. Boy, feeling his oats just a little bit. Ryan Richardson with his third from beyond the arc, and it's a 10-point Defiance lead.
Great start in the fourth quarter here for the Redskins, just what the doctor ordered. Now they've got it down to 10.
Coming out to trap, Richardson bounced past to right. He thought about a 3. There's where I thought one dribble and a 15-footer would have been a better choice. Oh my, Zippel gets absolutely trucked by Elliott Block.
Well, you cannot say enough about what Breslin Zippel's done here tonight. His physicality out there has been just what Coach Bryn Lehman's needed. You know, he's been really strong defensively. He's been strong on the boards. This is a big possession here as Defiance will get an extra crack at it.
Schlatter needs some touches. Singleton on the drive. Nice pump fake and give him 2 off the square.
He's so smooth. Great job there by Dre Singleton that time. The nice pump fake gets the defender off his feet there. Good touch off the window. Huge answer to that 3 ball by Richardson at the other end.
Lead back up to 12. Defiance has been able to keep it in double digits here in the second half, but feeling his oats, and that one goes off the heel of the iron by Richardson. Long board kicks out. Look at Hutchison diving, and it will be Defiance basketball.
Tremendous job by Hutchison, not just on that last drive, but before that to kind of keep that ball going there. And again, those are the blue-collar plays that'll win you a lot of ball games. Tremendous play once again by Hutch.
You know who Hutchison reminds me of? And they're wearing the same colors. Duke had a guard named Steve Wojciechowski that laid out every time he had the opportunity. If he wasn't black and blue at the end of the game, he didn't play. And that's the type of player that Logan Hutchison reminds me of.
Oh, that's a good analogy. And how about Brett Ziffel once again, the great answer at the other end. Good pump fake, good strong move inside, a 4-0 Defiance run.
Give Ziffel 9 on the evening and give him another board.
Boy, he's been huge here tonight.
Here comes Singleton. He wants to run. 360 spin move. Pump fake, baby hook. Couldn't get the roll. Schlatter mixing it up down low from his rear end. Singleton didn't quite get his feet underneath him, and it's out of bounds. Khalil Ligon was trying to sell it to the official, saying it's off of him, it's off of Red. It was off of him.
Did all he could there. A tremendous blue-collar play there by Ligon, and then he tried to sell it there, and he had everybody sold but the most important guy, the guy wearing the stripes. But I think they got it right.
5.5 left to go in the ball game. Defiance 40. Wapakoneta 26. Richardson. They get it into the high blocks. There's what they've been trying to do all night long, and at the 5:20 mark in the fourth quarter, they finally get the high-low.
That's how good Defiance defense has been. They've really denied that high-low, but how about Rogers there with that nifty diagonal bounce pass there inside?
Hutchison doesn't want the open 3. Singleton thought about it. Instead, he's going to drive baseline. He stepped out of bounds. Dre's just a half a step too fast for himself right now.
Now that time, one of the few mistakes Defiance has made, just the 5th Bulldog turnover tonight. And right now an opportunity for Wapak to get within 10, single digits if they come up with another trifecta.
Moyer picks up his dribble way beyond the arc. This guy's been feeling it. Richardson's got another, his 4th 3 of the night, and timeout Defiance at the 4:50 mark. This is as close as the Redskins have been since the second quarter, as they now trail by 9. That 3-point arc is a great equalizer.
Boy, it really is. That's why you just cannot afford to take your foot off the accelerator. That's how the game has changed here with the 3 ball. And how about Richardson, after being held to 2 points here in the opening half, he now has 14, and he's feeling it. They're going to try to get him some space here, as he would love to continue this heat strokes he's had here in the second half.
Speaking of space, one guy that had the lead as far as scoring was concerned at the half for Defiance, Cy Schlatter, the sophomore with 3 threes. I can only think of one touch, and I can't think of a single shot so far here in the second half. What do you do to get number 10 at least a touch this trip down the court?
Well, Wapak has done a great job of overplaying him, so I think what you want to do is, you use him as the screener because they're really not switching off of him. So if you use him as the screener for, say, Khalil Ligon, Brez Ziffel, whoever you want to take that shot, that's going to maybe give that guy some space and force maybe Wapak to play him a little bit more honest. But again, I think if you're Slatter, you can't force it. He's had that stroke all night. But again, as you mentioned, I can't remember more than a touch or two in this entire second half.
Lead cut to 9. Under 5 left to go in the ball game. Defiance has led after every 8-minute stretch. They're trying to finish this one. Bounce pass to Ligon. Low blocks. He's left everything short tonight. I don't know if he gets the ball in that position again, if he's got to just put a little more arch on it or maybe one step closer in. But that's been the key as he takes a charge. No, my goodness. They're going to call a blocking foul. The official on the baseline hesitated almost as if he they're going to say count it. What a huge turn of events. Moyer will count the basket and have his shot for a 3-point play.
Yeah, if you're Defiance, that's something you got to flush. You did everything right defensively. You had pretty good position. You didn't get the call, but don't let that affect how you play. But don't look now. They can make it a 6-point game.
And they do.
As Moyer is able to get the and one there.
Marked 4:26 in the fourth quarter down. A potential crossroads in this game. We'll see how Defiance responds. That's going to be a reach-in foul from behind by Richardson. Well, that was a 50-50 call, Scoop. It could have gone either way, and I don't think you would have heard too many people other than the home fans complain. But to count that basket, that is a huge 3-point play for the Redskins.
Yeah, that one, I didn't see that one coming. So, but credit to Redskins. We talked about the importance of being the aggressor going downhill, and they've done that here in this second half. And they've made it a 2-possession game here with 4 to go.
On the drive, Horvath, he's fouled, and this should be 2 shots.
Well, you can't say enough about the effort from Will Horvath tonight. He's been awfully big here, inserted into that starting role here tonight, and he is not disappointed. And there's another strong take by the junior as they'll head to the charity stripe to try to make this a 3-possession game.
He is not particularly strong at just 38%, and that one barely catches iron. He's shaking his head. This is where our coach used to tell us, you get 10 seconds up there. Take 9. Clear your head, deep breath, size it up. Don't rush. Deep knee bend. He releases. He's got 1 or 2.
Well, that's big. You make it a 3-possession game. Still with plenty of time to go here for both teams. But again, just to maybe get a little momentum on your side.
Into the high blocks. There's that baseline high-low again. They run it to perfection. Adams with his second basket of the quarter. 41-36.
They're starting to attack that 2-3 Defiance zone. Find them some success with that high-low game. Ziffel gets returned to center down there at the other end. Tremendous defensive play by Elliott Block, the sophomore once again.
Horvath will inbound on the baseline. Schlatter. Boy, I was going to say that ball was kicked, and the officials notice it. So they'll move over to the corner. But again, Defiance desperate to get Cy Schlatter a touch. He is scoreless in the second half. Wright will dribble out in between the circles. No, he sized that up. Nice dive by Ligon. We've got a foul, and who's it on? Take your pick. It's going against Blake Rogers for Wapakoneta.
Not a popular call with the Wapakoneta side of things, but maybe that equalizer there, where again, just a hustle play ends up being a tough break there for the Redskins. Now Defiance will run a baseline out of bounds, up by 5 here.
That's also the last foul that Wapakoneta can give before they send Defiance to the free throw line as this ball knocked out of bounds.
And meanwhile, Defiance only 1 foul here in this fourth quarter, so they still have 3 to give if necessary.
Ball lobbed out near half court. Wright's got it. He'll put it on the floor. Schlatter on the drive all the way in and finishes with the right hand.
Well, the last 2 times down, Defiance has cleared it out for Slatter. The first one he threw into Ligon. This time he goes all the way to the rack in a nifty move and great finish.
Up by 7, or will it remain so? Richardson with a long 3. Battle underneath. Zippel. Again, it's just been a window cleaner tonight.
Tell you what, another blue-collar play by Zippel, something we've just seen and expected throughout his career. But, boy, that comes at a great time for the Bulldogs.
Under 3 left to go in the ball game. Defiance doesn't need to be any rush. Horvath kicks it back out. Schlatter sizing up Rogers. They get it back to Wright. And timeout by Defiance with 2:39 left to go. A 7-point lead for Defiance. We'll see what Coach Bryn Lehman draws up. A basket here would make it a 9-point lead and would really put Wapakoneta behind the 8 ball. So here's my question for you. Who do you draw this up for if you're Defiance?
Well, I think you're Defiance. I think you're going to maybe take a little air out. I don't think you go straight 4 corner, but the fact that Wapakoneta has committed 4 fouls. You're at the free throw line here on out, so right now I think you try to spread things out, get them to go man-to-man, and then you look for Slaughter. You look for that 2-man game with Slaughter and Ligon, but you want to try to finish this thing out at the free throw line here, I think, if you're Coach Bryn Lehman.
They have an inbounds play, and I'm going to hold it because it would be irresponsible to break it down on the air and let everybody, including potential coaches that would be scouting
know
this
right away, hey, where's the basketball at? Which side of the floor? And
here's
we'll
what I'm telling you.
Something out of it.
They've got to play run out of bounds here. No, they don't. They're not going to run it. They're going to back it out, and it looks like they're going to milk some clock here.
Well, they're setting up Ligon down on the low block. Yep. It's something they were doing on that out of bounds play, too. And here's going to be the foul that's going to put Defiance to the charity stripe. So right now, a chance to really make some hay here as Brett Zippel, the senior, a 64% free throw shooter, heading to the stripe.
Slightly below average. This is going to be his first trip to the line tonight. Taking his time. Releases. Pure on his first.
Well, those big ones are always that first one there, getting the point. And again, Defiance as a team, 70% on the season, so they've done a nice job. This is the position they want to be in. They feel very confident having the basketball, having to try to ice it away at the free throw line.
Seconds. Joy just teased. So the lead remains 8, but 2.5 minutes left to go. Precious seconds ticking off the clock for Wapakoneta. Far corner. Ball is trapped, and boy, Horvath was almost there to pick up the steal. That zone, though, continues to really force Wapakoneta. They don't have a good look. On the drive, Moyer cut off. Approaching 2 minutes left to go in the game. A long 3 and good by Trent Lisi. His first points of any kind tonight.
His first shot of the night, and that was from beyond NBA range, and he buries that Premier Bank 3 and back to 5-point lead once again.
Under 2 minutes left to go in the game, and Defiance looks like they're going to try and force Wapakoneta to come out and foul him.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that decision. You've handled it really well all night. You've only turned it over 5 times.
Right, stops and pops from 15. Ice water in number 5's veins.
No question about it. Big time mid-range J that time by Wright. Boy, that's a courageous shot. He buries it.
46-39 at the other end. Lisi all of a sudden. Nope, check that. That's Rogers. Rogers on the drive. And they're going to foul. At this point, with $1:14 left to go and a 5-point lead, it's obvious Wapakoneta is going to try and extend this game as long as possible.
Well, they have to, and they're going to take their chances with Jordan Wright, who's a 74% free throw shooter on the season. So this is certainly a guy that Bryn Lehman more than happy to see go to the stripe. If he connects on both, he can make this a 3-possession game. First one on its way, up and in.
Got the friendly roll. This one's big because it would make it, as Scoop mentioned, a 3-possession ball game. Number 5 taking his time. Somebody's tying their shoe.
And I like Defiance contesting the rebound here. You have 3 fouls to give, so put your horses in there. If he happens to miss, try to come up with a huge offensive rebound.
This one's short, so the lead remains 6. Almost a turnover. Boy, what a save by Rogers. Top of the key. Lacey, they'll reverse it. Pump fake on the drive. Stolen away by Jay Wright. And right now, just dribble it out. They've got to come foul you. Hang on to the basketball. Somebody's got to come to Zippel. And Bryn Lehman, nope, it's a 10-second violation. Bryn Lehman was trying to call a timeout, and none of the officials saw him.
Yeah, you'd think in that situation you might take a peek toward him. Bryn was certainly trying to get one, but officials got it right. Credit Wapak. They're still hanging tough here.
Rogers. Far corner, Moyer. Nothing doing. Ball being tapped around. Tip it is good by Rogers.
What a hustle play by Rogers to get that possession. And Wapak quickly fouls. They're going to get Blake Rogers there on the reach. But this is as close as Wapakoneta's been since the opening quarter. And just a 4-point game. So even if he hits both, it's still just a 2-possession game. But this is the guy they want to strike. An 89% free throw shooter, Josiah Slatter.
Yep.
First one, ice in the veins once again. Gets it up to 5.
The sophomore with 12 on the evening, looking for a baker's dozen, and to make it a 6-point lead. In and out. Right now, if you're Defiance, you do not want to foul.
Wapak could use a 2 or 3. Just
right now it's a
possession.
2-possession game on the drive, and did they call a foul? No, it's a timeout being called by Coach Elchert after the drive, and I believe that was Rogers that laid it in. We'll keep it here with 1 minute exactly left to go in the ball game. Defiance has seen a double-digit lead trimmed to just 3, 48-45. All right, you know what's coming here if you're the Bulldogs. The press, full court. Wapak can't really take too much time off the clock. If you're Defiance, 2 things. Inbound, and then just be bossed with the ball because you know the foul's coming.
No question about it. You try to get that ball in bounds. I think to Slatter, the fact that he's that 89% free throw shooter. I know he just split a pair at the other end, but Defiance also has a couple timeouts. So get the ball in bounds, play strong with it. If you're going to get near the 10 count, you're going to burn a timeout. And it's not like the NBA. You get a fresh 10-second count when you take it out after the timeout. So, but you do have to be boss of the basketball, no question about it. Wapak's certainly going to try to trap double team, but they will foul when they get that opportunity. I think if you're Wapakoneta, though, you just don't want to put an 89% free throw shooter in Slatter to the charity strike.
He's going to inbound. So this is interesting. Wright would be the best ball handler on the floor right now. And they're going to put Adams, all 6'5" of him, right in the sophomore's face.
Well, they can pass it right back to him as well.
And they do. And he drives, and to Wapak's credit, they don't let much time tick off the clock as Block with his 4th.
And that's great coaching again by Defiance.
No, that's his 5th. Sorry.
Credit Defiance for getting the ball right to Slatter. They wasted little time there. And this is the guy you want to ice it away. The officials don't realize the guy had fouled out, so you are allowed to sub before the first free throw attempt.
Now, Bryn Lehman doesn't like that they're taking this long.
Well, they get 30 seconds.
Absolutely.
So you use it as a timeout. Credit Coach Elkert for doing just that. Boy, he's done a great job with the Redskins. They have the longest successful winning streak in WL as far as winning seasons. The Redskins, 5 consecutive winning seasons. Remember, OG with their 29 consecutive winning season streak was snapped this season. And their Slatter makes good on the first one, so that's huge. Makes it a 2-possession game, but don't be satisfied with 1.
No.
You want to try to get this and force Wapak to maybe go with a 3.
Look at this. I don't know if we can get a wide view, but Defiance has pulled everybody off the lane. It doesn't matter. Ice water in the sophomore's veins makes it a 5-point lead. 20 seconds as they cross half court.
Nice job by Hutchinson.
Hutch fouls.
Knowing that they still had some fouls to give, so now you've shortened the game a little bit, just 19.8 to go. And Wapak still down a couple possessions. But again, they don't have to go for the 3. They need a quick score. They're out of timeout, so if you're Defiance, don't hurry. Inbound the basketball.
Moyer releases it to Rogers. On the drive, stops in the middle of the paint, in and out. Zippel. That is a strong board, the biggest of the ball game as he's fouled with 12 and 2/10 seconds left.
And that's a huge dagger. Defiance now will keep everybody off the line to set up their defense, not allow a quick three in transition, and look for Defiance to still give up a foul or two as Wapakoneta will bring the ball up for Defiance, hopefully after the made free throws here by Zippel. Zippel, again, a guy that's had ice water in his veins, just a 64% free throw shooter.
He's 1 for 2 tonight, make it 2 for 3. Now a 6-point ball game, and if he hits it here, it in effect should be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, right here. If you make this 3-possession game, it's pretty much game, set, and match. We'll see if Zippel can do it here.
Deep knee bend, releases, it's pure. Now, if you're Defiance, just don't foul. You can give it up, they can make a 3, they can hustle, but at this point, 3-possession ball game. The last thing you want to do is risk a potential 3 or possibly even a 4-point play if you're the Bulldogs.
As long as you don't foul, you're in great shape here because even if Wapak comes down, hits a 2 or a 3, you can take your time grabbing the ball, getting out of bounds, then you got an extra 4+ seconds to throw the ball in bounds. So right now, and just unless 15 things all go wrong here in the last few seconds, Defiance is going to advance to see Lima Shawnee, a team they lost a heartbreaker to.
Yep, in overtime.
At the dog pound in overtime. They'll get that rematch that I'm sure they've been hoping to get here for the last month of this season.
Coach Bryn Lehman on Sunday before practice said, guys, you are positioned to make a deep run. But he goes, do you want to? Because what you have to do to make that deep run is cut out any mistakes that you could have gotten away with in the regular season. The sludge is gone at this point in time of the year. You're only going to face the cream of the crop.
Well, you're exactly right. He makes a great point. And again, it's about going out and executing and leaving it all out there. And certainly Defiance has done that here tonight. They're going to force the ball inbounds.
Long home run, and Wright is there to steal it away. He's going to dribble it out, and the Redskins, they will foul with just 7 seconds left.
And credit Wapak there. That's the only ball they really had. They don't have time to bring it up. You're down 3 possessions, so they went with the home run ball there, trying to get a quick deuce. The Defiance all over it. And now Jordan Wright, a 74% free throw shooter, trying to stretch this lead out. Boy,
what a tease. What a tease.
Shooter's touch.
53-45, this to make it a 9-point advantage, and Wapakoneta is emptying their bench. Coach Elchert doing a classy thing here to bring in some of his reserves and a couple, I believe, upperclassmen. As Wright, deep breath, leaves it short. Well, if you're Defiance, just get back, let them take whatever shot they want. And I believe it's being waved off, or are they counting it? It's immaterial. 53-48, they will count it. Survive and advance. We hear it so often. That's exactly what Defiance did tonight. Jumping out to a huge early lead and then hanging on as they up their record to 19-5 overall. Wapakoneta will end their season at 12-11, but the Bulldogs, the number 2 seed, will meet the top seed out of this bracket. Lima Shawnee, right back here on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. We'll have it for you. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout, 2-minute break. When we come back, the South 66 Lanes postgame show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
We welcome you back to Press Row at Liberty Benton High School. I'll tell you what, they do have a great facility here and set up well for a ton of media tonight, not the least of which saw a tremendous second ball game. Top-seeded Lima Shawnee dispatched Bowling Green with a running clock in the entire second half. We thought we were going to have a double-digit, I don't want to say blowout, but at least comfortable Defiance win. Wapakoneta had other plans in the second half, but in the end, just a little too deep of a hole to dig themselves out of and a little too much Cy Schlatter for Defiance. As the Bulldogs hang on, they earn a 53-48 win. So it will be number 1 versus number 2 right back here on Saturday with a 4 o'clock tip-off. Somebody will advance to sectional. Scoop, this ought to be a great game. I cannot wait.
Yeah, no question about it. This district championship is going to be just what you would hope to be. Number 1 versus number 2. Remember, these two met early in the season at Defiance, where Shawnee pulled out an impressive come-from-behind overtime win, something that's probably been stinging a little bit for the Bulldogs, but they'll get a chance for redemption. But, boy, they came to play tonight. They jumped out on top 30-10. It looked like things were going their way, but credit Wapakoneta. Boy, they did not go away quietly. They got it within close as 3 points there down the stretch, but some key free throws by the Bulldogs were just enough as they pull out a 5-point win here tonight at Liberty Benton.
Let's run down your scoring totals. A couple of Bulldogs, actually 3 in double figures, but leading everybody tonight, the sophomore Josiah Schlatter. He had 9 at the half. None in the third quarter. Matter of fact, I can only think off the top of my head 1 touch in that third quarter, and it wasn't so much that he exploded offensively in that fourth quarter as he got to the free throw line. He was 3 of 4 from the 4-minute mark in to help salt this game away. He finishes with 14. Hot on his heels. Well, I don't know what Brez Zippel, the senior forward, had for breakfast, but my guess is Coach Bryn Lehman would probably want him to eat it again on Saturday. He finishes with 12. He had 5 at the half, 7 in the second half, and like Schlatter, he was 3 of 4 from the charity stripe in crunch time as well. As a matter of fact, I looked down here in the fourth quarter and free throws, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 9 of 14 for the Bulldogs in this fourth quarter, most of them coming from the 4-minute mark in to help salt this game away.
Well, the big number there is the fact they got to the stripe 14 times, but credit Defiance for doing that. They were able to get in that position where they had the basketball. They were playing strong with it. Wapakoneta kind of forced to try to extend this game out, and Defiance was able to cash in on just enough. As you mentioned, 9 big free throws in that fourth quarter, being the difference here in this 5-point Defiance win.
A third Bulldog in double figures off the bench, although he'd been a starter for the bulk of this season. But Jordan Wright had 6 at the half. He finishes with 10. He was 2 for 4 from the charity stripe as well. Will Horvath coming off the bench, and he finished with 5 this evening. So 15 bench points for the Bulldogs this evening, and they needed every one of them.
They really did. And this was a total team win. When you have the luxury to bring guys off the bench like Coach Lehman does, boy, that gives you a lot of options. Some of these guys are interchangeable, but they got some big minutes, not only from the starters but from the bench tonight. And as you mentioned, Brent, they're going to need that again here if they want to continue this tournament run.
On the flip side, for Wapakoneta, 1 player in double figures, Ryan Richardson. Richardson, the team's leading scorer, he averages a dozen per ball game. I didn't think he'd get there at the half. He was held to just 2, but that 3-point arc, a great equalizer. He hit 4 from distance to help jumpstart Wapakoneta's comeback. It ends up being just a little bit late, but he finishes with 14 this evening. 2 other Redskins just a point away each from double digits. Caleb Moyer finishes with 9. Blake Rogers also with 9. 6 points for 6'5" sophomore center Caleb Adams. 4 points for Elliott Block, who fouled out with 23 seconds left to go in the ballgame. And then just 3 bench points for Wapak, a 3 from sophomore Trent Lisi. Again, if this game, had another 4 or 5 minutes to it, who knows how it would have ended, but Defiance did what they needed to hold off a very, basically, I want to say stingy, but just a tough Wapakoneta squad tonight.
Yeah, we knew this was going to be one of those 50-50 games where it's going to come down to execution. Defiance came out through the first punches, were able to get that little separation, but you knew Ryan Richardson was going to come back. He's a guy that had 12 of their 26 points when they met back on December 13th, even though he was held to 2 points. Boy, he really erupted that second half, did all he could to get his team back in it, but Defiance had an answer for Richardson down the stretch. I think they kept him off the scoring column for the last 4+ minutes of this ball game, and I thought that was huge.
We are going to take a quick break as Coach Bryn Lehman is making the media rounds on the opposite side of the gymnasium here. Hey, he's in great demand. You win, you earn your right to go ahead and play the top seed. Everybody wants to get a quote from the coach. I'm not sure if we see any players roaming around, but if we do, maybe we can grab one of them. What we're going to do right now is take a 2-minute break, a 2-minute timeout. Back with more of the South 66 Lanes postgame show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Well, the South 66 Lanes postgame show rolls on as Brent Balbanon alongside Scoop Miller as we are in press row here at Liberty Benton as Defiance holds off a late charge from Wapakoneta. The second-seeded Bulldogs, though, advance to Saturday's afternoon contest, a 4 o'clock tip against top-seeded Lima Shawnee. It'll be another rematch. It's basically become a WBL postseason conference tournament. We've talked about this. So many teams from the similar conferences geographically just fit the bill for brackets. These two teams not unfamiliar with each other. Maybe a little payback in store here as Defiance had the lead in the fourth quarter in that first matchup and then ended up dropping it in overtime. But right now, first things first, 53-48, and sophomore Josiah Schlatter, 14 points on the evening, steps up to join us here. You catch your breath.
Yep.
You're ready to go. I guess first things first, what was the mood like in that locker room? We thought maybe a double-digit win. Not the case, but your team showed some grit tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we knew when we went up big there at the beginning, they weren't just going to lay down and just let us win. I mean, we had to fight, and overall we came out with another win, just gritted one out. Not how we wanted to play, but, you know, we had to get it done to move on to the next round.
Which I thought one of the keys was that you kind of alluded to it. You guys got off to a great start. You're up 14-4 after 8 minutes, but then you stretch that lead to 26-6. You got some separation. You knew they weren't going to go away, but Well, that 2-3 defense tonight I thought was stellar. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we knew when we went up a little bit that we wanted to run that 2-3 zone, just space them out, make them shoot on us. And granted, they hit some shots down the stretch, but when it mattered, we locked down and played the defense we wanted to.
Well, and again, sometimes I think there's a misconception, especially amongst maybe casual basketball fans. Zone means passive, right? You're just going to step back and dare somebody to beat us from beyond the arc. That's not the case with your zone. Coach talked about it. As a matter of fact, I showed Scoop it. Hands up. If he said that, he being Coach Lehman once, he said it a couple dozen times in Sunday's practice. Talk about your zone principles and how aggressive you guys are in it.
Yeah, we knew they had a couple shooters, so we can't just sit back and let them shoot. We had to extend that a little bit more than what normal 2-3 zone would have liked to, but we got out there and affected them as much as we could.
You've got length in that, too. I mean, Dre, Khalil, even Brez. It looks like passing lanes are there, almost deking guys in to try and make that pass, and all of a sudden somebody sticks a paw out and deflects it. How long did it take for you guys to kind of develop that chemistry, that confidence in this zone?
Well, it took a little bit of time, but it's just kind of anticipating when something will happen and just being right on top of it when it happens.
Let's talk about the offense a little bit, Josiah. You know, the first time you guys matched up, it was a 10-4 game at halftime. You guys only dotted the scoreboard for 4 points there in 16 minutes. But tonight it was complete opposite. We talked about that 26-6 lead. You had 3 threes in that first half. What was working so well offensively you were able to get off to that great start?
Well, they put a lot of focus on Khalil at the beginning, doubling him. So we knew a couple of us other guys had to be ready and step up and be able to shoot. And we were hitting, so we kept shooting, and they kept going in, so we were good with it.
It's pretty simple. You know, you don't have to overcomplicate the game, right? Shooters got to shoot. Let's talk about your trips to the free throw line in crunch time. You were 3 for 4 from the 4-minute mark in. Brez Zippel, or as coach would say, Breslin, 3 for 4. As a matter of fact, I looked down here. Jordan Wright was 2 for 4, and even Will 1 for 2. Walk us through what your approach is. What's your process to kind of calm or maybe slow things down when you get ready to take a free throw?
Well, you just have to relax and know that, I have the same routine over and over. I know I told you at the beginning of the season, 3 dribbles and shoot. So I just stick to the same thing I do every day in practice, and all the time I put into free throw shooting, and it's just the same process. I mean, the atmosphere is different. You got a big crowd, but you just got to knock them down. And, yeah, I missed one. That's not how it normally goes. But
see, we're praising here, hitting 3 out of 4, and he's looking at the one he missed, Scoop. That's a perfectionist right there.
I like it. Been there before, so congrats on that. Hey, talk about your bench here a little bit tonight. We talked many times on the air. We thought you guys got great production off the bench and how that might have been a difference tonight. Talk about those guys a little bit.
Yeah, our bench is everything. I mean, we have 8, 9 guys that could come into our rotation, and there's no drop off. They're just there, and that's huge for us to have guys coming in with breaks. Khalil getting 2 fouls there, being big, just being able to rotate back everyone in is huge.
All right, you've got about 72 hours before you're right back here in the same gym. You're familiar, obviously, with Shawnee. So walk us through what the next at least 2, maybe 3 days of practice are going to be. How are you going to pace yourself through it? How are you going to prepare?
Well, we're going to have to lock in and have some intensity. I mean, last game we let it get away from us when we were playing pretty well, so we're going to have to get back to that and just stay strong for the whole game. We can't let off at the end, at the beginning, have no drop-off. We have to come in with the same intensity we did tonight and play that the entire game.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy it at least on the bus ride home, will you, before you get after it tomorrow?
Yep, we will.
Again, Josiah Schlatter, 14 points here for Defiance here this evening. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, did Coach Lehman take off? Go grab him, will you? Put him in a headlock and bring him over here. You have our permission. Quick break. We're back with more of the South 66 Lanes postgame show right after this on DCTV Sports.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
South 66 Lanes postgame show about to put a wrap on it. I tell you what, we have been deked by the best, but I tell you what, that list has been long but distinguished. Right here, Coach. One above us. We couldn't let this guy get out of here, though, with at least a little bit of something. Everybody wants to shake your hand. You're the most popular guy in the gym here this evening. All right, tale of two halves. And first things first, tip your cap to Wapakoneta. You knew they weren't going to roll over and play dead. I think I've used this word on a couple of occasions, but I'm going to use it again. Your club just showed some grit tonight.
100%. And you know, we knew Wapak was going to fight and scratch and claw to get back in that one. I think they made really good adjustments offensively. They started to hit the foul line, and I was disappointed. We didn't pinch very well in the bottom of that zone. And defensively, I think they just started to get a little bit more physical, and they pushed us, away from the bucket, and we kind of let that dictate, our momentum in the short bunnies that we were able to shoot. I can count 7 or 8 times we hit the front iron with really good looks. We just let their pressure kind of dictate us going away from the basket. So, like I said, credit to them for making an adjustment, and credit to our guys for hanging on.
Yeah, and credit your guys, too, for the start you had. I thought that was huge. You came out. You really were the aggressor. You guys were the aggressor in both ends. I had you unofficially for scoring 11 points off of turnovers that first half. How big was your defense here in that opening half?
Huge, and that's what gets us going early in games. And we've had a tendency to start slow, but when we can get up and pressure people and turn them over and run a little bit, we can get good things. And our guys have just got to commit to that. And I think, it always looks better when you're making shots, but I think our defensive pressure and our hands were really good in the zone early to create some opportunities.
2 areas, but I'm going to start one with Brez Ziffel. He's earned his way into the starting lineup. I don't know what he had for breakfast this morning, but my guess is you want him to have it again on Saturday. 12 points, and if he didn't have a double-double, he must have been close. He was just a beast tonight.
He was huge, and that's a guy, between him and Jordan Wright, those are guys that have started a bulk of this year, and for that to be our 6th and 7th guys, that's crazy versatility that not many teams have, and he was massive on the boards tonight. He rebounded so well, and he lost track of guys defensively a couple times, but, that's what you look for out of a senior leader, your captain, and Brez made massive plays down the stretch that allowed us to finish.
A little over 72 hours from now, you're going to be right back here in the same gym. We touched on it a little bit. I think we maybe even touched on it during our last postgame with you. Again, due to geography and everybody being so close, the first few rounds of districts and even sectionals almost seem like a mini conference tournament. You get the top seed. Matter of fact, 1 versus 2. The chalk is played out here. What do you do? How do you prepare? How do you pace yourself? I don't want to say payback, but you two are very familiar with each other, and I know what happened at the Dog Pound a few weeks ago doesn't sit well. Here's a golden opportunity to make sure that the tires on the bus don't hit 24 on the drive home. Walk us through the next 3 days.
I'm not going to sleep much. That's going to be the first thing. But, no, they're an unbelievable team. And I think our guys, credit to our guys, we talked a month ago about, when we lost that one to them in the really, really big game. We had to get this opportunity. Whatever it took to build up and continue to grow and learn as a team, we had to get another crack at them. And I think, it's still a tall task, and they're an unbelievable team that they're not going to feel sorry for us. They're not going to, they're going to think that last minute was more indicative of how the matchup should have gone than the first 31 minutes. So we've got a lot of respect for them. They're a difficult guard. They're going to present some different things to us than they did a month ago. But, we gave ourselves a chance to win a championship, and you couldn't ask for anything else.
You've earned it. Now nothing left to do but go out and tip it off. We'll be here 4 o'clock on Saturday. Congratulations, Coach, and best of luck to you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Great
Thanks
job,
a lot.
Brad.
Coach Lehman coming up to join us. We're going to take a 60-second break. When we come back, we're going to put a wrap on it. You're watching the South 66 Lanes postgame show on DCTV Sports. Back at Liberty Benton, Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. This is going to be the quickest wrap that you've ever seen. Good night, everybody. Look, a fantastic ball game here. We thought we would see it. It panned out, and if it plays out to be even half as well on the court as it looks on paper, Scoop, Saturday is going to be another one.
Yeah, this is going to be a grind here for 32 minutes. You don't want to miss it. These two teams went overtime just a few weeks back, and so much more on the line this time with a district championship in the balance. Should be a dandy here from Liberty Benton.
We anticipate being on the air with the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show about 3:30. Tip-off is at 4. We hope you will join us. For our entire crew, a big thank you going out to all of our sponsors for helping support us and what we do, and you, the fan, for tuning in. For Scoop Miller, I'm Brent Balbinot. Final score, Defiance 53, Wapakoneta 48. We will see you Saturday at 4 o'clock. You've been watching a presentation of DCTV Sports.